Hello everyone, so this is going to be going over my thoughts about E3 so far. The current date is the 10th. E3 has still got another 2 or 3 days left to go, but it's left a weird impression already. Let's just get things out there. I honestly think that Microsoft have done the best so far in terms of what has been shown up until now. We've seen EA on the first day, then Microsoft, followed by Bethesda, followed by Devolver Digital, up until this current point. And out of all of them, Microsoft has shown the best show, I would say, so far. We've had little rumblings in the background of other things going on. I'm going to go over things as I feel. And you guys chime in the comments and see if you agree. So the first day with EA, all EA had to throw out was the new Star Wars game that they're working on. And sure enough, it looked interesting, but the way that they actually showed it off in their own stream wasn't the most amazing thing ever. The rest of it was more or less just a snore fest where they had DLC for The Sims 4, we had a FIFA and I think an NHL game, and then we had some more DLC for other games. I think Apex was one of them that had like a new season, a new character or whatever. Some of it I honestly didn't think was worth an E3 spot, and the way that the presentation was done was a bit all over the place, especially with Greg Miller trying to hype everything up and it kind of falling flat a little bit. So then after this, we wait a little while and we have Microsoft the second day. Now Microsoft kicked the entire presentation up a notch by bringing in Keanu Reeves to show off Cyberpunk 2077. If you weren't already set on buying the game, or you weren't convinced, Keanu really sold it. There are currently tons of memes about him online, and also like fan art of him saying you're amazing, you're breathtaking, to everybody. Honestly, seeing Keanu in that game is really nice, considering he's really accurate with his in-game model compared to his actual real-life counterpart. So it's really cool. Plus, the guy's just an all-round likable guy. So CD Projekt Red did a good thing, like putting Keanu in it, because it really sells the title even more than it already is. That was a really big sort of hype moment for everybody. We saw titles like The Blair Witch, which I honestly thought was Alan Wake for a while, or some sort of an Alan Wake title, because that's not been out in a while. Then we had a bunch of indie games which actually looked genuinely fun, simple, but fun. We had a Lego expansion pack for Forza Horizons 4, which looks genuinely fun and rounds out the last expansion pack that they did, which was the Hot Wheels one, so it seems like they're going for a toy theme. Either way, it's cool. I like the way that it looks. They tried to market it as almost like the Lego movie, the first one, with the same music and looks like destructible environments and other things. Honestly, looks really cool. If I had the money, I'd get it straight away, the actual game, so I can get the DLC when it comes out. We had some other crazy announcements. We had Phantasy Star Online 2 finally coming to the West. For anyone that's been like a big Sega fan for ages, like myself, this was a game that you either played on launch on Japanese servers or you didn't get to play and everybody was complaining. A little bit late to the party, Sega, but Microsoft now having it, like after Sony, and making it cross-play and having all the updates in it, we'll have to wait and see. A lot of the Phantasy Star community at the moment are just kind of on suicide alert, more or less, just being like, we're not quite sure what we want to do, whether we're going to stick with the game, whether we're going to move on to the US one, whether we're going to just stay on the Japanese servers, is there going to be some censorship of certain items in-game, what's going to happen, So, there's a little bit of a mix-up there as to what's going to happen, but my god, we finally got this game after, I think about, 7 years or something? Maybe more? I think it was released in 2012, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that's a long wait. We had a Minecraft dungeon crawler, which honestly did not look too bad. It's very casual, but that's its market. I imagine it's going to find some footing and people are going to enjoy it. It looked enjoyable anyway. Very simplistic, but fun. we also had more of the Star Wars game that EA showed off on the first day, and Microsoft actually showed it off in a more exciting way by showing more of the gameplay and quicker cuts. So they showed a little bit more, I would say, or at least the pacing was kept consistent. Whereas the EA one showed off a lot more in terms of one level, but at the same time, the way that they were going through it, it felt really slow. And then to round off Microsoft's booth and show, they had the Halo Infinite trailer. Again, it's just another CGI trailer, but it kind of gives you an idea of what they're doing with it. They're going back to the older designs. You've got Chief just floating around in his Mjolnir armor in space. A guy runs into him in the Pelican. They pick him up, they charge him up again because he's been in power down mode. And then when Chief gets an explanation of what's going on, the guy's just like, yeah, we just lost, dude. And Chief looks up out the front of the Pelican, and there's the ring, or one of the rings, just completely broken. So I'm assuming this takes place after Halo 5. They've gone back with the art style though. Classic Pelican, classic Chief. Not so sure about the UNSC personnel guy there. They're just still trying to go with the human element of the storyline. We'll have to see. 343 has me kind of worried about it, but it was definitely a cool way to finish off. I just wish they'd finished off with some actual gameplay. Instead, this was placed deliberately after the Xbox, like the new project that they've done, Scarlet, which is apparently supposed to be 3 to 4 times more powerful than the Xbox One, and has a load of different systems in it, which look like they're going to kick ass. So, hyping up the new system already, that was pretty cool. We got some nice details of it about how strong it'll be. Real-time ray tracing, which is a really big thing. And then, of course, we get Halo. So this to me suggests that they might hold out on Halo and possibly release it on the new console and just give up on this one for now and just wait and ride it out. So yeah, Microsoft had a decent showing, lots of games, lots of gameplay. Even if it wasn't like direct demos on stage, they showed off something. Bethesda on the other hand, did this weird thing where they kept on showing different groups of people and having them explain how Bethesda was so important to them and how, you know, Bethesda's games had impacted their lives differently. They had this repeated quite a few times throughout the show. And in between that, they showed off titles that they'd already shown off before. Most of them had microtransactions in, which seemed really kind of awkward. If you don't like microtransactions, then this wasn't the show for you. They didn't really apologize for Fallout 76. They just kind of went, yeah, we had a mess last year, didn't we? And yeah, it was interesting because Todd comes on, he kind of skips over everything and just says, yeah, we're going to go ahead with the show. We get Elder Scrolls Blades, which is a mobile title, which has microtransactions. Then we got I think it was a card game that also has microtransactions. Then we had a Battle Royale mode for Fallout 76, which I don't think anybody wanted at this point. They just wanted Fallout 76 fixed. And then, of course, they're praising the community and saying, oh, we won't be here without you, trying to butter them up. And then, after the Battle Royale mode was introduced, they also made a big deal that NPCs were coming back finally in Year 2 of Fallout 76, or Season 2, whatever. It was really weird. To be honest, a lot of people were kind of hoping that NPCs would be in the first place, so that, again, was not something to jump at and be like, yeah, this is amazing! Then we had, I think, a couple of other games. I think it was Wolfenstein as well, the new Wolfenstein game, or 2 of them. One was so forgettable, I honestly can't remember it. And the other one was a 2-player co-op. The thing is, it looks exactly like the other 2 Wolfenstein games, where there's not seeming to be too much evolution of the gameplay style or whatever. In some instances, I would say that was a good thing, but in this sort of sense, all they've done is change the setting slightly and also change the characters. The weapons look like they handle the same, the enemies look the same. It's nothing new as far as I'm concerned, so that didn't get me hyped. And then at the very end, when I was starting to lose my patience, they showed off Doom. Now, Doom looks okay, don't get me wrong, some nice fast gameplay. It's just by this point, I'd lost all hope in Bethesda's booth, so and show. So Doom, I'm probably gonna get more hyped about as it comes closer to launch, and I think I'm not associating it at the very end of a really bad stream by Bethesda. We then got a another Devolver Digital weird sort of announcement. Everybody thought they were going to release more news on Metal Wolf Chaos because that's been delayed. That's definitely what I was there for. But instead, they showed off a couple of new indie games, one of which you play as a monster and you go around killing a bunch of people. They had another one that was like a battle royale game where it seems to be almost like an obstacle course. I don't know, it looked pretty weird. Very simplistic graphics, but they were also taking shots at the industry again for various different reasons. And then the show more or less ended in about 20 minutes, and they ended up doing this really weird show afterwards, and I was streaming this at the time with a bunch of people. We had like 2,000 people in stream at one point, and honest to God, everybody thought they were trolling because it seemed like one huge bit where it was a joke that just went on for way too long. I didn't stay for all of it. I cut it off about 10-15 minutes before it ended, apparently. But, yeah, that was weird. I expected more from Devolver, so I mean, I enjoy the comedic element to the shows and the way that they take stabs at the industry, but that one kind of fell flat for me as well because there wasn't really much there for me to grasp hold of. So far, everything's been kind of flat on its face, apart from Microsoft's showing, because they had more there to show. And then recently, I've just heard within the past 2 hours that Final Fantasy VII's remake has got an announcement date for the launch in early 2020, but that seemingly snuck under the radar as well. And apparently most of the announcement or the stuff going on around the announcement, like a concert that they had, was literally just people sat there listening to MIDI files. Don't know whether that's true or not, or whether that's somebody exaggerating things, but if it is, then, well, if it is true, that's rough as well. You know, it seems like it would be a big deal because it's Final Fantasy VII. I'm super hyped for it, but to hear that, kind of a bit off-putting, not in terms of, will I or won't I purchase the game. Still going to get it because I'm really hyped for that. But it's just weird to have Final Fantasy VII have such a small sort of announcement in terms of, or rather a small impact in terms of announcement, because it's such a big game with such a large amount of attention behind it. You wouldn't expect it to kind of just sneak under the radar behind everything else. Then again, this was really early in the morning, possibly late at night for some people, like really late at night. So, depending on where you live, time zone-wise, you may wake up to find that this has happened and be like, yeah! Or, alternatively, you've already seen stuff and just been like, oh, that's neat, I'm gonna get it, but what happened? When was this announced again? You know, I thought they would have made more of a song and dance about it. Anyway, what do you guys think of E3 so far? I'm going to be covering the other bits of E3 as it continues, but that's my take on it so far. What do you think? Were you excited for any of these games? If you were, how hyped are you for them now? I had a tongue twister there. Were there any games that you like in particular? Were there any moments that you got really excited about? Leave them all in the comments, and I'll see you in the comment section. Bye!